Financing your MBA education is a very big concern for applicants, especially now as there are so many options to choose from. So when you start off with your MBA application or preparation process, it becomes a cumbersome decision to first of all, look at what schools you want to apply to. So while you decide what schools you want to apply to, it is also very important to understand what are the costs involved, what are the living costs involved, the tuition fees, and how will you fund them. So financing your MBA education will entail a lot of questions like what is the interest rate for the education loan? If you're applying for an MBA in India, then what are the options, to get a loan without collateral, even for an MBA abroad? What amount can one get on loan without collateral? What are the documents required for the education loan for MBA? So these are all the questions that we will address today. Today we have officials from the IDFC First Bank, Mr. Dipesh, Mr. Vijay, Mr. Priyank, and Mr. Santosh, who would help us understand the financing options for applicants, especially to MBA programs. Some questions that we would like to address here today would be what type of financing options are available for MBA students? How are the products offered by the fintech companies, different from what a private sector bank or a public sector bank offers? And what are the important criteria which the financing institutions consider while offering credit? How does the loan application process work for MBA students? What documentation do I need to provide? How do interest rates and the repayment terms vary for MBA financing options? So we'll have our guests joining us shortly, and I think they will take it forward from there. In the meantime, we also would like to, discuss some options of pursuing an MBA. So when you are looking at MBA applications, you would have options from both, pursuing an MBA in India as well as pursuing an MBA abroad. So, hello, Mr. Dipesh. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, hi. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. So,
Great.
yeah, right. So,
So,
yes, please.
shall we wait for a couple of minutes, let the participant join, or you want me to start right now?
I think we can get started, and people will keep on joining as they come in.
Perfect. I think then let us start. A very good afternoon, everyone. A special mention to the team of Gola SB for arranging this platform wherein students can learn about the financing options available, and we as a bank get to know the students they want and how we can make a difference in their journey. So with this note, I welcome all of you on this platform. We are a part of IDFC First Bank, and specifically we offer education loan. Uh, so this education loan division we have started very recently. This is a young product for the bank, and being a young, we have a lot of advantage. When we started this business of education loan, we do a lot of intensive research about the industry at a large, the product which is available as of now, and how can we, when we come later in this offering, how can we better off from the existing product, and how can we solve the existing problem which is faced by the student and the parents fraternity, also from a couple of colleges and universities and test prep centers. So to bridge this gap and within this ecosystem, we have launched this education loan offering almost last year same month. So now we are almost 1 year into this business. We have seen the entire cycle of how students and the admissions and the test prep centers works, and how can we make a difference in their lives. So to start with, I just want to give a brief introduction about the IDFC First Bank. So we are a bank with a customer base of almost 7.3 million, and it is growing rapidly. We are customer focused and analytic driven bank serving new and aspiring India. Our our vision statement is to build a world-class bank within India, which is guided by ethics, powered by technology, and to be a force for a social good. With this, we have won a couple of accolades. To name a few of them, one is the IDFC First Bank has been named the best consumer digital bank in India in 2021. We have been awarded Economic Times Best BFSI Award in the private bank category. We are also been awarded as the most transformed new bank in India in 2020, and a couple of prestigious brands, one of the most prestigious brands in of India in 2022 by Herald Global and Bark Asia. So these are the few of the accolades to name a few, and I'm sure you all must be seeing our ads in the televisions and hoardings in your cities. When you roam around, we have a brand ambassador as Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. So I'm sure you can all relate and recognize the brand IDFC First Bank. To start with, the basic question which comes to everybody's mind is why education loan. So this education loan works as a safety net, as a contingency. Whenever the decision of going for a higher degree is one of the most prestigious decisions one student generally takes, and generally parents also make arrangement from starting that they save for their children's education. They have enough savings also available. But education loan works as a contingency in terms of you don't have to break your savings. Whatever savings you have done till date for your higher education, you can just keep that intact and let that savings grow at the market rate which is available. However, at the same time, you can choose to take education loan, which will benefit in terms of a lot of aspects. So that is what we're going to cover in the next slide. Yeah. So there are different ways available, when it comes to financing your education. One is the most obvious way, which is self-finance. As I said, a lot of parents do save for their children's education, and they use their savings, so which we call as self-financing. But here the problem is, the whatever savings you have done in the last 15, 20 years for a children, the entire saving will go at a one go. That is for their education. So if you invest all your savings into one particular event, then you will left with almost nothing, and it will hamper in future if you have some kind of emergency kind of situation. So it's not advisable that you should use your entire savings for one particular event, and rather than you should take a cheaper option which is available in the market in terms of education loan. You can also create a very positive credit history, because in students' life, the education loan is the first loan that he or she can get, and by of taking this loan, you also build your credit history. You all must be knowing that nowadays the CIBIL and the CIBIL score is so much important that if you have if you have built good credibility and good credit history, in future you are going to take more loans in terms of purchasing car, in terms of purchasing your house, for a home loan and everything. So this is the first loan which will give you a benefit of creating a positive credit history, which will help in getting more future loans like car loan or home loan or any kind of loans. Also, there are ways, there are other loan also available in the market. If you can just go back to the previous slide, please. Yeah, here. So the first aspect which we talk about was just self-financing. The second, aspect is there are a lot of different kind of loan available also in the market, like a loan against property or a personal loan. So there are it happens in many of the time, just because of lack of awareness about education loan, parents or a student choose to take either personal loan or a loan against property. So those kind of loan we are not advise. We never advise because that is not meant for that actual purpose. If it is a purpose of education, then the education loan has to be taken because it is comparatively cheaper than any other loan, and it also provide you a tax benefits in terms of whatever the income interest that you pay towards education loan, the entire interest will be subtracted from your gross income. So because of this tax benefit aspect, your education loan is comparatively cheaper than any other loan like a personal loan or loan against property. And there are a couple of benefit is like collateral free loans. Majorly education loans are collateral free loans. So unlike your loan against property where you have to mortgage your property and all, here you don't have to, right? Also, education loan covers your entire cost of education. So this doesn't include only your tuition fee, but it can also include your living expenses, your lodging, your boarding, your books, stationery, laptop, and even any of the foreign immersions that is a part of your overall curriculum. So any expenses which is directly or indirectly related to your education can be funded under under the education loan product. Yeah, so this is in education loan market. So basically, there are three entities. One is a private bank, one is PSU bank, which is government banks, and third is NBFCs or fintech companies. So let us do a quick comparison in terms of how we as IDFC First Bank are different from the other existing players. So the first and the foremost is because we have a dedicated cell to manage educational business. We have done in-depth research about courses and colleges available in India and abroad as well. So we have almost 8,000 plus colleges approved in our system, in our databases. So whenever customers comes and apply for a loan, mostly it happens that the particular college is already approved in our system and database, and we know what kind of expenses are going to incur by student, what will be the requirement of first tranche disbursement, second tranche disbursement, and even about their future employability. So we don't restrict ourselves to doing a research only on the course and the fee structure, but we also have databases ready where we also have mapped the future income, the placements records of that particular program. Similarly, for this aspect, if you compare with any other government bank or a fintech bank, they generally don't have that approach because they are not specialized into this loan. They do multiple other product and not very much specialized. So here, that is the biggest advantage, I believe, that when you get to interact with any of the IDFC First Bank official, you will feel a difference that the people understand the nuances of this product in the university, course, college, and everything in detail. Expense, which we covered, the total education loan expenses are covered. As I said, it is not only covered tuition fee, but it covers entire cost of education, which is directly or indirectly related and can be funded under the education loan product. Similar problem, but is not there. I mean, if you take PSU bank example or any NBFCs, they generally fund only tuition fees, and because in metro cities, if you opt for your MBA program, the living expenses and book stationery and the kind of laptop and even the foreign immersions in between have a huge cost, and which generally is not been covered by other entities. But here you will get and everything as a bundle. The rate of interest, which is again a very crucial part of any loan. So we are very, very competitive, and all our education loan offering are reducing in balance. So unlike most of the fintech firm which are offering education loan in the market, they provide flat rate of interest. So that is very, very costly, right? So I want and I suggest everyone to look for this aspect whenever you are inquiring or doing a research about your education loan. Please pay attention to the rate of interest and the nature of rate of interest. That is very, very crucial. The loan tenure that we offer is up to 15 years. So, and this 15 years include your study program. So, for example, if you're opting for a 1 year program, 1 year MBA program, then 1 year of study and then another 1 year of grace period. So, in total, 2 years of moratorium period is what included in these 15 years. So, 2 plus 13, in total, 15 years of tenure we give. Most of the PSU bank also gives 15 years of tenure. Unlike a couple of NBFCs and Fintech, which give only 10 years of loan tenure. Loan tenure help you in getting more time, giving you more time to repay the loan. However, you can always choose to prepay or foreclose the loan whenever you want. So there is no restriction, like even if you have chosen for 15 years of tenure, you can very well repay or very well prepay the loan, either in partial or in full, in between any time, whenever you choose to. And our offering, IDFC First Bank offering education loan product have almost nil charges towards any prepayment or any foreclosure. So the product that we have built is completely transparent in nature in terms of the offering, in terms of the commercials. So there is no prepayment charge, there is no foreclosure charge. So that is again one of the very key aspect and the USP of this product. And you should check this with any of the competitor that you may inquiring about your education loan. Another most important aspect, the income documents requirement. So here, see, since this is an education loan, means it's a student loan. So we put more emphasis on the students' capabilities rather than analyzing what the parents doing, what are their income and all. When I tell student capabilities, we check students' 10th, 12th graduation marks, their competitive exams scores like CAT, GMAT, or any other competitive exams. And then the final admission letter received from which university. So these are the aspects which we look into while deciding or while approving the loan. So the basic idea is, because it's a student loan, the student is at the core fulcrum of the entire decision-making process at IDFC First Bank. If you go to any other fintech nationalized bank, you will see they don't value what student brings to the table. They more emphasize on their parents or guarantor or the co-borrower's income. They ask for the income paper. They check the ITRs. They ask for collaterals. And rather than giving student a student loan, they just generally give lab kind of or a PL kind of offering. So I think that is one of the key reasons why we are able to make huge difference within a year in the market. People, especially the student and parents community, and from various colleges, are welcoming IDFC First Bank education loan because of this aspect. Because we know we are genuine education loan, student at the fulcrum, and considering their future income, discounting at the present value, and giving out the loans, right? So these are the advantages. Sorry, please go back to the previous slide. Yeah. So I just want to reiterate. These are a couple of key advantages of IDFC First Bank, which have been talked about, but I just want to reiterate for the benefit of everybody. The first is attractive interest rate. So we have done our benchmarking with the competition, and you will come to know that we are quite competitive in terms of rate of interest. So you don't need to worry about on that part. Unsecured loan covering the entire cost of education. This is the second, biggest advantage. You don't have to uh, get lesser education loan. You will be able to procure the entire cost of education under the unsecured basket. Uh, uh, as I said, it includes all your tuition fees, living expenses, transportations, and all additional expenses towards the education. Flexible repayment options, simple interest, which is so whenever you take education loan, it always disburse in tranches. So, for example, if you take 10 lakhs of a loan, the entire 10 lakhs of a loan will not be disbursed at one go, right? So, out of 10 lakhs, suppose you take 2.5 lakh rupees for first tranche disbursement, because that will be the fees that you have to pay for your first semester. The interest will be calculated on the first tranche disbursement only. Then, when you took second installment, then again, the interest rate will be calculated on the second installment, and likewise it happens. So, interest is what you can pay. You can choose to pay during your study program. You can also choose to pay partial interest. Suppose if you borrow 10 lakh rupees and the interest coming is around 8,000 rupees, and you want not to pay on 8,000 rupees full, but if you want to pay just the 5,000 rupees or 2,000 rupees, then also that is the facility that we provide, that we call the partial interest option. You can choose to pay the amount which is affordable by you, uh, rather than paying the entire interest. And the third, is the complete EMI, where majority of the parents, who are in good income bracket, they ask for specifically, to start the EMI from very first day. So that option is also available. So all the three different repayment options we give to all the students who want to take education loan. And the last but not the least, which I talked about, is the completely transparent loan. There's no free payment, there is no foreclosure charges at all in the loan that we provide. Next, please. Yeah. So this is application process. So very simple process, and we have divided into three different phases. One is the pre-login phase. Here, our IDFC First Bank representative will get in touch with you once you inquire for an education loan. We will come and explain you the entire details, features of the product, and we'll also come and collect the documents on your behalf. So it is like a home, it is like an education loan home delivered kind of concept. You don't have to run to any of the branches, or devote your time in coming and going to branches and all. The end-to-end services, from collecting documents to processing the file within the banking system, and then giving a decision that the loan is getting through. And at the end, once the loan gets sanctioned, we again will reach out to you for signing the loan agreement and other purposes, and then we can disburse the loan to the demand raised by the institute. So it's a completely hand-holding process that we provide. Student or the parent doesn't have to go out from their comfort zone. Everything will be taken care by the IDFC First Bank representative, and it will be handhold for the entire process. And this entire process, generally takes 3 to 5 working days. Within 3 to 5 working days, you will be able to get the required disbursement from our side. So that was about the application process, and I think that with this have been able to cover most of the aspect. But in case if anyone have any questions, I think that will be better that we can discuss it out. If you have any kind of question in any of the part, feel free to raise it. We can have discussion around it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for the discussion. And we have a few questions which, while we were researching, the students had provided to us. So we can take those up in case, if time permits.
Sure. Please.
So the first question is, what is the interest rate for education loan for MBA in India? So, and the next part of this is, how does it differ from when you are pursuing an MBA abroad. So how does the interest, what is the interest rate and how is it different across locations?
Yeah, I think very valid question. And whenever there is a loan, there is interest rate. So both the things are, it's like two side of a coin. Um, so the education loan interest rate varies on a couple of parameters. I can give you the broad range. The range is like starting from around 9% and it goes up to 12%. So that is the range in which we operate. It depends on a couple of parameters whether the loan is domestic. I mean, the student is going to pursue their MBA or study within India or outside of India. That is the first parameter. The second parameter is the category of the college. So wherever student has captured, secured his admissions. So that category of the college decides, the rate of interest part. And third, the repayment plan and the secured and unsecured mix. These three parameters generally we take into consideration while coming out of giving out the exact rate of interest. But to answer your question, the range which we operate is starting from 9% onwards.
Okay. And what are the amounts that one can get on loan without collateral? So another part of this question is what is the maximum amount that one can get, without collateral? Is there a certain formula for it, certain criteria that are important to calculate that?
Correct. So for within India study, the loan cap that we have for unsecured is about 40-45 lakh rupees. So up to 40-45 lakh rupees, we give complete unsecured loan. For abroad, for student going abroad, we have a higher cap of 75 lakh rupees. So 40-45 lakh rupees for domestic student loan and for 75 lakh rupees for abroad education loan. These are the unsecured cap. Um, and beyond that, because there are students who go for bachelor's study abroad, and even in India, there are students who go for medical program, which costs more than a crore or 1.2 crore. Those kind of loan also we do, but then it goes with collaterals. So to answer your question, 45 lakh rupees unsecured cap within India, 75 lakh rupees cap for unsecured for abroad studies.
Right. And so coming to the moratorium periods, so there are two types of programs, especially in India. One is the full-time program, these are the standard MBA programs, and second are the executive MBA programs. So does the moratorium period differ for both of these programs? What are the important things that one should understand when he's considering an education loan?
Right, right. So definitely, I mean, you have bifurcated it in two segments. One is a regular program. So for regular program, we give moratorium up to the post period. Suppose if somebody is going for a 2 years MBA program into, say, for example, IIM Ahmedabad, which is the flagship PGD program. There we give 2 years of study plus 1 year of grace period. So total 3 years. So this 3 years is moratorium period. If there is a 1 year program, suppose somebody is going for ISB MBA, then ISB offers 1 year of MBA program. So there 1 plus 1, 1 year of study program, 1 year of grace. So this 2 years is a moratorium period. So this is for regular program. If somebody is going for an executive MBA program, so executive means, for us is like somebody who is working and along with their job or business, they are parallelly doing study. So they are not leaving their job or earning capabilities, but simultaneously they are earning, studying as well. Here, for such programs, we do not give any moratorium. Since student is already earning, we want them to solve the EMI from the very first day, and the logic behind is because the one is earning, if they pay interest from the very first day, they will be able to take the advantage of interest benefit which education loan offers, and which is a huge tax benefit under Section 80E. So for regular program, why we offer moratorium? Because the student is not earning. Student will take some time to pass out from the program and then get a job and then start earning. So there we provide moratorium because it is a requirement. But when it comes to executive program, the demand from student is, they want to start paying from the very first day since they are earning, and they can also claim tax benefits.
Okay. You've mentioned tax benefits earlier as well under Section 80. Can you elaborate more on what are the tax benefits and, why one should consider taking a loan rather than paying from his own pocket?
Sure. So this is a benefit which is provided only for education loan, and that is also if education loan is being taken from any of the RBI approved bank. So it is not applicable to generally majority of the NBFC or fintech firms. So one has to do proper research, or they have to ask this question whether this education loan which they are taking will be qualified for 80E or not, because that is a huge factor, and it will reduce your total rate of interest by a huge margin. How this works, this 80E, the section is 80E for education. It's altogether a different section. It is over and above your 80C, which is your mutual fund, insurance, PF and all. It is over and above your home loan interest rate and principal and all. So these are altogether different. So it helps you save more tax. And the beauty of this section 80E is there is no upper cap, right? So any amount of interest that you pay in a financial year, the entire interest will be exempted from your gross income. Correct. So if for home loan there's a cap of 2 lakh rupees a year. If you pay more than 2 lakh rupees of interest towards your home loan, you will not be able to take exemption beyond 2 lakh rupees. But when it comes to education loan tax benefit under Section 80E, even if you have paid 5 lakh rupees or 10 lakh rupees towards interest in a financial year, the entire interest burden will be exempted from your gross income. And that is what is make this education loan one of the most cheapest available source of financing for your education.
Right. Hello, Sana. Thank you for joining us. Sir, Sana has a question. She says that is having a co-borrower mandatory for taking an education loan?
Yeah, hi, Sana. So, a very valid question. So, as I said, we completely work in a very different way. If you compare with any other bank, our requirement is quite simple because we put student as a fulcrum of the entire decision-making process. We always ask student to be part of the loan. Along with it, co-borrow requirement is always there, right? But the co-borrower, like your parents, either mother or father, anyone can join the loan structure, and we take only KYC part. So their PAN card, Aadhaar card, and the address proof. That is the only part that we take to evaluate the process. We generally don't take income documents if the students are coming under the category of platinum or titanium category, which bank has selected for a couple of institutions. There, we generally don't ask papers. But to answer the question, we do require co-borrower in the loan structure, but only for the purpose of contactability, taking PAN card, Aadhaar card, and address into our details.
Right. I have another question, sir. So there is a forex TDS of 20%, which has been announced recently. So what is that as an implication on the education loan?
Correct. So that is when a student goes abroad, right? When there's a forex remittances out of the education loan. So there, any remittance, which is happening for the purpose of education, there the TCS applicable is I think 0.5%. If the purpose is not education and it is something else, like for a leisure trip or for a business purpose, then the TCS is around 5%. So 4.5% lesser tax that you incur if the purpose is education. So here you save almost 4.5% on your foreign remittances while remitting money towards any of the university for the purpose of your education. So that is another not tax benefit or a tax exemption given uh, by the bank. Yeah.
Right. And you mentioned that the loans are given out in tranches, so a tranche one versus a tranche two, or maybe different stages. So how are these tranches, calculated? Is it dependent on the offer letter by that is received from the student, or can the student decide on it on his own? So how does that work?
Yeah, this simply works based on the demand from the institute or college. So whenever college raises a demand, so the couple of colleges took 1 year tuition fee at one go. So if they ask for an entire 1 year tuition fee, we generally have to give disperse that amount. A couple of colleges who ask for only 6 month tuition fee in advance, then we disperse accordingly. So as and when there's a demand from college or university, we disperse in tranches accordingly.
Right. So there is one more question which is slightly, related to what is happening today. So, for example, a student has, joined a program and he's paying that after the moratorium period, he's repaying the installments. But just like the layoffs which are happening these days, and he's laid off. So, is there any provision where he can, forego the installments during that period when he's already suffering layoff? So what is the provision that can be arranged from the bank? Can you request for
Uh,
something like this at all?
no, I think whenever one takes a loan, they have to manage their finances. They have to keep the contingency fund as a buffer for such kind of situation. Because if loan repayment has to happen, whenever the suppose customer is paying a EMI or a simple interest, every month it will come into their account and that has to be honored. So and for that they have to have a provision buffer kept in their account so that it gets honored on time.
Right. Main
Yep.
comparison that happens when somebody is taking an education loan is on the interest rate. So the public sector banks, they usually have a very low limit for the interest rate, while the private sector banks will have a higher, range of interest rates. So as an applicant, what other things are important, or how exactly can he look at the interest rate as well? So that it is just not that number, maybe a reducing balance, or are there any other factors which one can look at?
I think mainly, the aspect which I talked about is whether it's a floating rate of interest or fixed rate of interest. That is one which we have to check. Second, the kind of loan tenure, what are the expenses that is being covered? That we have to check, and the ease of taking the education loan. I think the service, the pre-service and the post, loan services. So these are the critical aspect that one need to evaluate rather than just looking at zero point 0.5 basis point difference in terms of ROI, and also the charges. How there are a couple of banks or a couple of entity which give lesser rate of interest at the beginning, but they levy a lot of charges in terms of prepayment and foreclosure. So entire product gamut basket you have to see, analyze, compare, and then you have to take informed decision.
Are there any elements that the bank also looks into when they are evaluating the programs? So, what are the elements that the for the school or the program? How do you decide what bracket they go into? So the students can also look at it in the same way.
No, so I think that the method of evaluating one particular college or the course will 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 not be able to disclose by me because I'm not a part of that particular team who does it. That is something which we can discuss later on.
But as when the students they choose their programs and for the ease of financing, they should consider
Yeah.
the maybe the usual rankings which are available so that they are able to see that if the program rates high, then it is rated high with the banks as well. So that is that a valid criteria?
I think yes, that is one of the criteria to check. Also, whenever a student discuss about applying for education loan with us, we'll check the details in our system. Whether the particular college or a course falls under which kind of category, and what are the offering particular for that particular college or course. We will be able to let them know in detail about that particular case. So it will be more of a case to case specific rather than in general, which majority of these other financial offer. We don't have
Yes.
menu card system, which cater all at the same level. We generally have tailor made solutions for students.
Right, because sometimes what happens is that the student goes through a whole 6 months of cycle applying to different schools and gets admits from some schools where then finally when he's applying for a loan he faces a problem that the moratorium period would not be as much, or maybe the interest rate would be higher, or maybe the collateral requirement would be higher. So if they could take care of those things while choosing their programs at the initial stage itself, it would be very useful, and save them a lot of time and effort at the end of the day.
Correct. What we have done, recently is we have started evaluating loan applications based on their entrance exam score. So even if student is awaiting their final admission letter, or they have not even decided, but they have just give out their GMAT or a CAT or NMAT, they can apply with that particular score. And based on their choice of selection, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colleges which they have kept in their mind, they can give us that for fine name of that colleges, and based on that the list of colleges that they are looking for and the entrance exam score, we can actually get their loan provisionally sanctioned, so that they will have a peace of mind that they can choose any of this college and this is the amount of finance that is available with them. And once they got selected, I think the majority of the colleges give a very less time to make the payment. For example, there is a college in Mumbai who gives just 4 days, and they have to pay the fees to secure the admission. If they don't make the payment within these 3 to 4 days, the seat will be allocated to the next merit list of students. So the time frame available to students is very very less once they got selected, once the merit list is out from college. So what we suggested, what we have come up is that students can apply to us before even before even their GDPI sessions, or uh, after immediately after the exam score is out for GMAT or CAT, and get the education loan provisionally sanctioned with us, so that they don't have to rush at the last moment.
Yes, and then the decision making will also be easier, and they will also understand that if they have made the right choices. So this is in fact a
Correct.
very, very valuable insight, because the education loan everybody presumes will come at the last stage. Once I get an admission, फिर देखेंगे. So if we do
Correct.
that, then we are losing on time, and maybe not
Yeah.
taking the right decisions. Yeah, rushing.
Yeah, absolutely
Right.
right. Absolutely right. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much, sir. And in case you would like to, summarize some takeaways for people who are looking at applying for education loans, what are the things that they should, prepare for? One thing for sure is that as soon as they give their GMAT or the CAT, they should approach the banks for a provisional, they can approach the bank for a provisional allocation and assessment of their schools as well as the loans application. And anything else that you would suggest them in the changing times and so many product offerings, what are things that will really be important for them to check out?
Right. So you mentioned it very very right, and we have seen student and parents coming at the last moment, and then applying for loan, and the time will be very very less. So my last and humble suggestions and advice to the everyone is the kind of time and effort that you put in to prepare your CAT exam or a GMAT exam. uh, I think at the moment you decide that you want to pursue higher education, at the same time you have to think about your finance as well. Generally, what happened? No, we don't focus on finance. We kept finance at the last, and then all these hiccups come. My suggestion is, the moment you decide that you want to go for higher education, that kind of education costing nowadays is very very high, right? And no matter how brilliant you are, if you have cracked the CAT and GMAT with a higher, good ranking and percentile, but if you can't fix your finance, I don't think so any of the colleges will be able to give you admission, right? So finance is a very, very critical part, and it has to be paid attention at the beginning of the idea when it's generated in your mind. So just go out and kept your education loan sanction, provisionally sanctioned, so that it will give you a peace of mind. The finance part will be taken care, no matter what, and it will also help you secure your admission in your preferred institution which you are targeting. So that is my only humble request to each one of you.
Thank you so much for your time. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, team Goal ISB, and we look forward for such more engagement in future as well. Thank you.